Every race of Formula E, there are some extrication at first with the people that work in the medical center, and also with the drivers, surely 2 drivers at least. And we are speaking with Antony Clement, as MDD Incident Commander, that show and explain us what's happening in these moments when they make a test. And no, we film the test, so we will show how function, in few words, this extrication.
Okay, so what you're going to see here is just a standard extrication that takes place on what we call an open cockpit vehicle, the Formula E vehicle. Obviously the main priority is the safety of the driver. So the initial approach, you'll see the doctor will climb up the front of the car, make an assessment with the driver, find out which injuries the driver might have, and therefore give us an idea on how we're going to extricate them from the vehicle. The most controlled method of extrication is to use the chair that is integrated into the vehicle itself. This chair has been designed and developed that we basically can strap the driver in, forming a mobilization system. So what you'll see with the guys is they've got to find straps, connect straps. They have to do a controlled removal of the driver's helmet, put on what we call a cervical collar to protect the driver's neck and their C-spine. Once we have full mobilization of this, then we can then look to fasten them to the chair, basically securing them on the chair. What you see then is the chair physically being lifted from the car. This will keep the driver nice and tight and compact, protecting any injuries to their spine. The chair is then moved out, carried, as you can see, and then they are transported by hand to what we call a vac mat. The driver is then removed from the chair, put into a vac mat where they can be put into an ambulance, and then a full, more clinical assessment can be done from top to toe, hopefully clearing them of any injuries and getting them back racing as soon as we can.
And after so many races that you make the same, some years we can say.
Yes.
Every time you learn something more, or is exactly the same?
Oh no, absolutely we learn something more. One of the good things we do in this series is we actually carry out these extrications on the real cars with the real drivers. Every car and driver has a different foam in their seat. So it's a lot more technical with inside the cockpit, and the guys and the girls have to learn where to put their hands, where to find it. Obviously, you're seeing an extrication on a car that's on their 4 wheels, no damage. You'll find when this happens for real, we can be in walls, we can have obstacles. We've had, as you saw in Saudi Arabia, we've had a car upside down. So a lot more action has to get put in before we get to the stage of actually controlling that extrication of the driver. So every race can normally bring a new learning pattern.
And also to put attention where you put the hands, because there are high voltage here.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we've not even spoke about there is around the Formula E car. Within the medical car that travels with myself and the doctor, we have an electrical expert. Their role when I arrive is to see all the hazards that are going to be harmful to my team in terms of sharps, but we have our electrical expert who is getting all the detail and the data on the vehicle. If the car is at any form of danger, yet we have to save the driver, then we have special protocols to put in place to protect us. But hopefully the electrical specialist can neutralise the car, do something to make the car safe, and then it becomes what we would call a standard, everyday extrication.
And when you do it with the real drivers, there are also some information from the drivers, because they have, some special things that they feel as a drivers. Of course, I not speak about if they are injuries or not, because it's just an exhibition.
Yeah, of course.
But they can change ideas in a way to better to improve the function.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with any extrication training you do, whether it's with one of our guys in the vehicle to the drivers, their feedback is paramount, because if they're saying, and you're right, within a scenario they have no injuries, thankfully, but if they tell us that the collar is digging in, it's too tight, someone's pinching them, that's all learning, because what we want to do is just be able to get that driver safely out without causing any further discomfort or pain. So their feedback in this is very much important. And all the drivers, we've done extrication on every single driver, they are really good at giving us some really positive, constructive feedback on how we can better handle them and make them feel comfortable in this situation.
There are some things that has been changed since the first test with Formula E until now.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously the introduction to Halo, that changed a big part of extrication. We've got a lot higher side to lift up. One of the biggest things that anybody out there that knows extrication on single seat will notice is the method that we choose to get someone on top. This allows them to do a straight pull. So we're thinking about the manual handling, the safety of our own crew, because we've got to be able to function properly to do the right job. So yeah, from when we first started to a 5-person single seat extrication, we've come along leaps and bounds working around the development of the car and the feedback from the drivers.
In the season 9 will arrive the Gen 3 of Formula E, the new car.
Yep.
This change also a lot for you, or it's more or less some development and no more?
Yeah, so the actual final schematics of that Gen 3 car have not been fully viewed by us. We've got plenty of time, we're in that process, and once that Gen 3 car is decided, then we will go along as a medical team with the FIA, look at how that car has changed. Do we have less places to put our feet? Is the car wider? Is it taller? And then what we do is we formulate that plan, we make new procedures, we try them, we test them, we rubber stamp them, and then we move into that series with a fully functional extrication plan.
Thank you very much.
No, you're welcome.